What's up, fellas? So, man, it is raining here. We're supposed to get like 4 inches of rain. Some flooding going on right now. Me and Lexi are taking a little ride to Grandma's house. But, so, hasn't been any snowmobile videos because my new 2020 850 is at the shop. We went up, about a couple weeks ago for the holidays. We were up there for a week, and for whatever reason, it just starts fine, runs fine, rides fine. But the PID D gauge was stuck in like ORV mode. It's got the little powertrain symbol on it. Steering wheel, seatbelt light. So, I updated my gauge with the trail maps and all that, and then I reinitialized it physically, which you shouldn't have to do with the new 850. Every time you turn the key on, it reboots and initializes the gauge. But there's also, you can go back and do it manually, like you've had to in the past. So I did that about, a dozen times, and nothing would change. Probably got about 120 miles on the sled. Could never get that to go away, so I could never select my fuel type. What other options are you missing there? So, yeah, I couldn't select my fuel type. You're missing like the average speed kind of thing. My fuel gauge is always off. My coolant temp wouldn't show up. My fuel gauge was off and my coolant temp was off. The digital readout part was good, but it wouldn't fill up the bar graph. So there's definitely some issues there, which I could have lived with for my trip, but it also, sorry, I got Lexi in the back, just getting wet, lets her head out the window all the time. What was I saying? Oh, so anyway, the gauge, yeah, it sucks. You want everything to work perfect. I know it's not a perfect world. You're going to have some issues. And with my luck, I would be the one to have issues, and I most certainly did. So, the sled also was having troubles going over 6,500 RPMs. It would almost be like limited, purposely, like a limp mode of some sort. But the gauge wasn't showing I had any codes, but I didn't know if I trust the gauge because that thing hasn't been working right since day one. So I took it to a dealer up in the UP, and they hooked it up to the wrench, and no codes. So they said, yeah, basically they told me they didn't know what to tell me. Nothing wrong with your sled. Changed the spark plugs and said they're fine. I'm like, yeah, I know that. Like, I already changed my plugs and went through the basic stuff. So anyway, they charged me like $120 because they couldn't find anything wrong with it. So therefore, I guess their claim is there's nothing to cover under warranty. Which, whatever, the gauge is still broke, and I was just like, okay. So I left because I didn't even want them working on my sled at this point. So I tried a few other things I had read online, went out for another ride, didn't do anything to improve, and I was just frustrated at that point. You couldn't ride over like 55 miles an hour because it would just hit about 65 to 6,800 RPMs, and then it would bog down and just stay there. Like the power valves aren't opening. So I loaded up and went home. Dropped it off at my local dealer back home where I bought it. and so that's been there all week. And they called yesterday. First off, I want to shout out to Ball Equipment in Richmond, Michigan, because they've been awesome through this whole deal. So I went there, told them my experience so far. I wrote Polaris an email with my experience, and they responded right away also with a nice email, pretty much stating, sorry to hear that your trip was ruined and you're having these issues, and that they're going to follow the case closely with my dealer, and we'll go from there. So so they called me yesterday and told me that same thing, like, yeah, it's not throwing any codes and stuff like that. They're like, there's absolutely a problem, unlike the other dealer, in that they were in contact with Polaris all day. Polaris took, he was hooked up to my sled with the wrench. Polaris remotely took control of their computer, did a bunch of their diagnostic tests, all kinds of things, whatever they could do. And they said that it's the ECM, something going on with the ECM, and this is the first time that they've ever seen this. So whether that's true or not, I don't know, and if it is, lucky me again, go figure. I guess my dealer even tried taking a new PID gauge off of floor model, or one they had in the crate, and plugged it in, started it, and then let it run for a minute, and then the same thing happened. So it's definitely not just the gauge. So Polaris said that it's definitely the ECM. So they're going to overnight at ECM, and that would bring us to Monday. I wasn't going to go riding this weekend. So my dealer really stepped up to the plate and said that they would pull an ECM off floor machine to get me going this weekend so I could ride. And as awesome as that is, I just told them don't even bother, because I would have to bring the sled back when I was back from the trip, take that ECM out, put the one in that Polaris sent, to finalize everything, and it was just getting to be too much. I don't need my sled torn into 50 times, and there's no reason for them to go ahead and do all that. Yeah, I'm going to miss a weekend of riding, which really sucks. There's really no excuse for that, but I'd rather skip the weekend, have them get the ECM from Polaris, install that, make sure it's all good, and then pick it up, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, and I'll go up the following weekend. And they are, so my hat's off to Ball Equipment for stepping up. They did exactly what they said they would do, and and I think that's awesome. So we'll see how Polaris wants to handle it, if they're gonna, I'm hoping they'll take care of the bill I was charged from the last dealer who said they didn't find nothing wrong, or work it out with them somehow, reimburse me or something. We'll see how all that plays out. They got awesome snow up there. When we left, there was 3 feet of snow on the ground. And it has snowed a little since. And they're calling for 8 to 12 inches by Wednesday, Thursday. So this next weekend's going to be primo. And I'm sure hoping my sled is, because if I miss out on another weekend like that, I'll be pretty pissed off. So, unfortunately, no cool snowmobile videos, and pretty much bums me out. I see a lot of guys posting some videos on their 850s and whatever sleds and having a great time, and it's like, damn it. You know, the 100 miles I did was at 50 mile an hour. It just sucked. It really sucked. It was the first time ever that I had to actually wave people by me because I couldn't go any faster. That's real sweet. So, oh, there was one other thing I wanted to touch on, and that was the suspension of the 2020 XCR 850 Indy XC 850 is very impressive just from the little riding I did get in, 100 miles, which not being able to really go over 50 mile an hour, but the bumps we did hit on the ride back the one night was moguls the whole way. Nothing too crazy, probably like a good 1 to 2 foot moguls with the occasional hole. And I was trying to keep it right at like the 50 mile an hour mark. So I mean, you know, by no means were we going slow. We were a pretty nice clip. Only because I couldn't get on and off the throttle. Like if I got off and then unpinned it, it would hit 6500 bog. So it was the best results I could find for what I was working with was to hold it steady at about 6 grand. I could run right about 50, 52. So I was just like taking all the corners, like keeping my momentum up like that. So I was kind of hanging some corners pretty fast, and I could go into the turns confidently. By the end of the ride, I was very, very confident that every turn I went into at speed like that, it was going to turn and do exactly what I thought it was going to do. Zero push. Even going over the moguls in the corner like that, stayed on its track, didn't wash out, didn't push, didn't do anything weird, no sloppy bucking, no nonsense, man. It was very refreshing and very nice ride, pretty plush. My torsion springs are set on low. My coupler blocks are set on high. I love ski lift, and I'm a very active rider, so I'm all over that sled. So I would rather, you know, like to sit up front to get the bite, lean back, all that good stuff. If I didn't ride like that and just kind of preferred to kind of sit more neutral and lean a little bit, but nothing crazy, I'd probably put my coupler blocks on like a medium to, I guess, low. How would that be? You know, so it would couple faster. Maybe that's high, but I think you get what I'm saying. So it would couple faster, and I would have more ski pressure and less ski lift. But I like to have all that open and leave it up to my body weight, and be able to lift the skis on demand, all that good stuff. So torsion springs low, couple of blocks on, I think that would be low then, and then my rear track shock. Let's see, I went all the way down with the compression, with the high speed and low speed compression, and then I went up 3 clicks on high speed, 2 clicks on low speed from full soft. Front track shock, I didn't touch the preload. That's at the stock setting, factory manual setting. I checked it, it's right in the middle where the manual says they put it. And then the same for the clickers. 3 from full soft for high speed, and 2, actually I think I'm 3 and 3 there from full soft. 3 clicks stiffer from full soft on both high and low speed for front track shock. And then the front ski shocks, I ended up at 2 clicks from full soft, high speed, and the same for low speed. I didn't really mess with it too much because I was kind of more concerned about the other issues I was having, kind of That takes the wind out of your sail a little bit for everything else. But just made a couple quick adjustments to kind of get it pretty good. And that ride home, like I said, where it was like a 1 to 2 foot mobiles, man, was an absolute blast. I was having fun, even though I couldn't give it power. It was really nice. Really took the hits good. Bottomed out one time. It was a big hole, you know, 50 mile an hour, coming off a hill, so my momentum was already down, going down, and then it fell into the hole. Bottomed out, nothing like crazy. You could just feel it, which is perfect. I'm using all my suspension. And I'm pretty happy, man, with all that. I'm sure I'll probably play with it a little more as the snow changes. But for the time being, man, I'm very impressed. I love the ergos of the sled. You're up a little higher than I'm used to on the Cat, which is awesome because then standing up is so much easier because you're almost already standing. There is no wind protection on that sled with no windshield. Absolutely sucks. Cold. But I'll deal with it for a while. What else did I notice? Yeah, really hard to tell, like fuel mileage, oil consumption, all that. I have no idea. I was just putting some oil in it and riding it. Like I said, it wasn't running good, so couldn't really judge any of that anyway. Yeah, other than that, man, I'm very happy with the sled. And I'm just anxious to get on it while it's running well, to really get a true feel for how it's going to react to everything. So I'm sure a lot of that suspension and things are going to change when I get full power, because I'm going to be riding it differently. I'm going to be going into the corners maybe harder, more brake, and then, you know, hammering out of the corners more. And that's going to change things. But I'm pretty happy. I'm excited, man. I hope this isn't gremlins chasing me all winter kind of thing. It's a big disappointment. Short seasons here, and kind of had some issues last year with the Arctic Cat. Chased those around all winter. Although I did get 2,000 miles on it, which is pretty good for me. And had a few minor problems, but I was just hoping to not have any issues this year with this sled. But unfortunately, I'm the lucky one who got these issues that they've never seen. Sweet, right? So that's where we're at with that. And yeah, that's all I got for that. We will see you guys hopefully next weekend. I'll make some videos, and hopefully you guys like it. So like and subscribe. You know, if you guys are gonna watch these videos, I'll make more. You know, if they're not that cool, I guess I won't. But it's kind of fun. I like talking to you guys, getting some feedback, comments and stuff. I don't know, just kind of cool, something to do. So hopefully I'll get some good content. See you guys.